Mom, maybe just come for the ceremony. Only my son texted me 2 days before his wedding, the wedding I paid $200,000 for. His new wife called me Epsilon trash while wearing the dress my money bought. So that night, I called the bank. My name is Frances Morgan, and I'm 68 years old, a widow living alone in Philadelphia. Last night, I canceled a $200 $1,000 check I'd written for my only son's wedding after he threw me out of the ceremony for embarrassing him in front of his new high society family. My hands were still shaking as I sat in my car outside the bank watching the teller through the window confirm the stop payment. 42 years of sacrifice, and this was how Samuel chose to repay me. The leather steering wheel felt cold under my palms, nothing like the warmth of his tiny fingers wrapped around mine when he was born. When did that baby who needed me for everything become the man who was ashamed of my very existence? It started 48 hours ago. I was standing in my bedroom holding up the navy dress I'd bought specially for the wedding, not too flashy, God forbid I draw attention, but nice enough that Natalie's family couldn't say I looked cheap. The dress cost more than I usually spend on clothes in a year. But it was Samuel's wedding, my only child's wedding. My phone buzzed on the dresser. A text from Samuel: Mom, we need to talk about tomorrow. My stomach dropped after months of planning. What could possibly need discussing now? I called him back immediately. The video connected, and there they were, Samuel and Natalie sitting in their pristine living room with its white furniture. I was always afraid to sit on Mom. Samuel started, and I could see him swallowing hard. Natalie's hand rested on his knee, her engagement ring, catching the light, the ring I'd helped pay for, though we don't talk about that. What is it, honey? I asked, though part of me already knew. Mothers always know Natalie's family. He glanced at his fiancée. They have certain expectations for tomorrow, expectations. The word tasted bitter. Natalie leaned forward, her smile practiced and cold. Mrs. Morgan, you understand that many important people will be attending, business associates of my father, society, people, I understand. I said quietly, though I didn't, not really. Samuel jumped in. So we were thinking, maybe don't mention the laundromat, and definitely don't talk about paying for anything it might make Natalie's parents uncomfortable. The laundromat, my business, the one I built with my bare hands after George died, the one that fed us and clothed us and put Samuel through college, the one that was paying for their wedding, and Natalie added, her voice sweet like artificial honey. We've arranged for you to sit at table 12. It's a lovely spot, really. Table 12. I'd seen the seating chart. Table 12 was in the back corner by the kitchen doors. Tables 1 through 3 were for Natalie's family and their important friends. Actually, Samuel said, not meeting my eyes, maybe it's better if you just come for the ceremony. The reception might be overwhelming for you, overwhelming for me, the woman who'd worked 16-hour days, who'd scrubbed other people's dirty clothes until her hands bled, who'd saved every penny so he could have everything he needed. That woman might be overwhelmed by a party. I see, I managed to say, my voice steady, despite the crack forming in my chest. You understand, right, Mom? It's just one day, one important day, one day, as if the previous 15,000 days of raising him meant nothing. After they hung up, I sat on my bed for a long time staring at that navy dress. How many signs had I missed? How many red flags had I explained away with he's just busy or he's trying to fit in with Natalie's crowd? I thought back to all the little moments I'd ignored, the times Samuel told me, not to mention the laundromat at dinner with Natalie's parents. Just say you're in the service industry, Mom. Keep it big. The way Natalie had forgotten to invite me to the dress shopping trips, though her mother and 3 sisters were all there. The increasingly sparse phone calls always cut short because they were crazy busy with wedding planning. Each memory was like a small cut, and I was only now realizing I'd been bleeding out slowly for years. The pattern was so clear in hindsight. The closer the wedding came, the more Samuel pulled away. No, that wasn't right, the more he pushed me away. But even then, sitting in my bedroom with the full weight of rejection on my shoulders, I had no idea what would happen the next day. I couldn't have imagined that my son, my baby boy, would do something that would shatter 42 years of unconditional love into pieces so small they could never be put back together. The sun was setting outside my window, painting the sky the color of old bruises. Yes, tomorrow was supposed to be the happiest day of Samuel's life. I just hadn't realized that my absence was required for that happiness. 1981, Reagan was president. I was 26 years old and 8 months pregnant with Samuel when I dropped out of nursing school. The morning sickness had been brutal, lasting well into my 3rd trimester, and the clinical rotations were becoming impossible. George held me as I cried that night, promising we'd make it work on his plumber's salary, just until the baby's older. He'd said, rubbing my swollen belly, then you can go back. But babies need things, diapers, formula, clothes, they outgrow every few weeks. And George's work was seasonal. Good money in summer, when people fixed their houses, lean winters when pipes froze and nobody had cash for repairs. I took in mending at first, then laundry for the neighbors. What started as a few loads a week in our basement became a full operation in our garage. By the time Samuel was 5, I was running Morgan's laundry services out of a rented storefront, working 14-hour days while he played in the back room. I'd set up with toys and books. My hands were perpetually raw from the chemicals. My back ached constantly from bending over the machines, but every sacrifice felt worth it when I tucked him in at night. Mommy, why do your hands hurt? He'd ask, touching the cracked skin gently, because I'm building something special for us. I tell him something that will make sure you can be anything you want when you grow up. The nursing school called twice over the years letting me know about re-enrollment options. Both times I declined. Samuel needed braces. Samuel was starting high school and wanted to play football. Equipment was expensive. Samuel got into a good college, and even with scholarships, the bills were staggering. George died when Samuel was 22, just graduated and starting his first job. Heart attack on a job site, gone before the ambulance arrived. The life insurance helped, but I poured most of it into keeping Samuel stable during his grief therapy, time off from work to process anything he needed. You're all I have left.